Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Two of Cups, love. Love as the binding force, right? This is the urge to merge with something. I feel like you are someone who is trying to bring more love into your life. I think that you very often meditate on love, like what does it mean to be in a loving relationship? What does it mean to love someone? It doesn't mean that it's always pleasant. It doesn't mean that it always feels good, right? It seems to you that love is a choice, that we choose. We choose to kind of follow this feeling no matter what happens, even those days where we might hate the other person or feel very annoyed with them. I think you're understanding what it means to truly be in a relationship that is reciprocating. Okay? To be part of a team, part of a group, part of a community, part of a couple, right? This doesn't have to be romantic love. You can put your pitchforks away. It could be. It could be divine love, self-love, romantic, platonic. It is love. Love is love, right? Let's put this card into a little bit of context, and then we'll get into our discussion. Of course, we had this card that fell out of the pack. Now, I don't know what that card is. I'm debating whether we should use it as a mystery card or if we should just add it to our pile. You know what? Let's just set it over here, and we'll look at it in a few minutes here. You've got the Princess of Swords. That makes more sense because this is you meditating on love. This is you investigating love. This is you asking the question, what is love? Right? You've got, looks like you have some ideas about how to answer that question with the Knight of Swords. You have an Ace of Swords. You have a Nine of Pentacles, and you have an Ace of Wands. Good aces here. On the path of the Serpent, you have more Libra energy. Both of these very strong Libra cards. I would watch the Libra reading if I were you. Okay. We have the Hanged Man. You have a Three of Cups. And you have the Art or Temperance card. The Temperance card, in a way, is sort of asking you, what would you do for love? For the one you love? For self-love, divine love, platonic love, whatever. For love, what would you do? This is the pressure cooker. Okay. This, I think, is really the idea that you're allowing love to transform you. You're allowing love to mold you and shape you into the person that you want to become. This is love for yourself. This is love for other people, love for your neighbor, love for your family, love for your partner, your pets, your plants, your people. All about love, right? And how love changes us, and how love is a reciprocating energy that in any kind of relationship, that actually exists, where there actually is any kind of love, even if it's just like a stranger, But when there's any kind of authenticity there, when there's any kind of connection, it's alchemical in nature. It changes them, it changes you. Yeah. And I think you're being very discerning right now about what relationships you're allowing into your life because you know how they're going to change you. So if we are molded by every relationship we have, well, better pick the right ones, Let's pick the mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor Infinite and Unknown. We're going to set this one down over here with Mr. Ed, our little horse right there on top. We're not going to look at that one till the very end. This one we might look at sooner. This card will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction down in the comments. Let's do it together. Yeah. Let's use our intuition. Let's use our higher discernment. Maybe don't tell me what card you predict it will be with the intuition. Maybe we use the discernment. What card should it be? What card should it be? Six of Cups. Should it be an Empress, an Emperor? Should it be more Pentacles? Should it be more Libra energy, more discernment? Should it be more Swords? Maybe a Six of Swords? What should it be? And I think as we talk about these cards, maybe we'll have more of an idea of what it should be, and we'll see what it actually is. Okay? Let's look around the room here. We've got 1, 2, 3 major arcana energies. Okay? You've got the discernment of this Libra energy, the Justice card, but you've got the acquiescence of the Hanged Man. It's kind of like you know the right thing to do, you know the right choice to make, but we still end up giving in. Okay? In relationships of any kind, love relationships, platonic, self-love, divine love, romantic relationships, even relationships with coworkers, in these interactions with other people, we end up giving in or acquiescing. This is the card of surrendering. Now, surrender is good. We want to surrender to love, right? When we have the right relationship that we know is going to be good for us and it's going to be reciprocating, we're going to surrender to it. We're going to fully allow our relationships to help mold us into who we need to become and who we're meant to be, right? Thing is, we don't want to acquiesce or surrender or give in to the wrong things, because then we'll be sort of molded in the wrong direction. So we need that higher discernment, and then we need to sort of let go. We need to make the decision. We need to have the willpower to make the decision to let go to the right kind of love that's going to help us to become who we're meant to become. So this is a reading about relationships. We've got a little bit of fire. You've got water and water. You've got air, air, air. And just a little bit of earth. Okay? The earth really is about the growth, our desire. Our aim in life is to get better at being ourselves. For improvement, we don't want it to grow in the wrong direction, right? We don't want to make progress backwards, because that's not progress. That's whatever the opposite of progress is, right? So the Nine of Pentacles is at the top here because that's what we're looking for. We want growth. I want to keep making good decisions so that I can get better at being a human being, that I can get better at love, that I can get better at discernment, that I can get better at whatever skill I'm learning, that I can grow and evolve as a person, as a spiritual being. And we realize that comes through the field in which we're operating, comes through the material world. It is through our interactions with the material world, our perceptions, what comes in through the senses, right, that determines how we're growing. So someone who's kept in an isolation chamber has no interaction with anything through the senses. Everything's just taking place internally, right? Where's the stimulation? Well, there's no field of experience in which we're forced to sort of make decisions and operate and have interactions, and then the world outside of us changes and we change too, and there's growth, there's evolution, there's progress. Okay, there's development. So this is your I think trying to be very discerning about what you're choosing to perceive. Everybody could be looking at the same painting, right? And everybody's going to be noticing something different. Everybody may be feeling something sort of the same, maybe, but everybody's sort of looking at different things in a different way and understanding it in a different way. Even if it's just slight differences, everybody has unique perception. And I think that you're trying to take more conscious control over what and how you're perceiving. We're trying to take in things that are healthy for us, right? It's the way we might be discerning with the food we take in. Okay, like Gurdjieff said, everything is food. Everything is food for the body, or food for the emotions, or food for the intellect, food for the soul, right? And so we have to be discerning in that way. But I think it's more complex than that, you know. I think that we, in the pursuit of any goal, okay, we're trying to understand kind of why we want that goal, why we're going after that goal, why we have that kind of impulse. I heard something on a podcast about some kind of a bird. There's a bird that will attack anything that's red, and that same bird will also sit on anything that's egg-shaped. So what some scientists did, it seems kind of a bad joke, but they took an egg and they put a little red dot on it. Well, then that bird would sit on the egg, but then was attacking the red spot at the same time. So there's these two conflicting desires, let's say, right? These two conflicting systems. And so, you know, it really is that discernment that we have as human beings that say, it's egg-shaped. Did I sit on it? Well, it's red. Do I attack it? What am I going to do? And it's kind of like we feel like we have a conscious choice. We feel like, well, I don't have to sit on it. You know, maybe the impulse, if it was just egg-shaped, I'd sit on the egg. But it has the red spot, so now there's a conflict. Now there's something inside of us that says, wait a minute. This is like there's some kind of a cognitive dissonance here. It's egg-shaped, but it's also red. Do I sit on it and nurture it and love it, or do I attack it? Is this good for me or is this bad for me? Because very often we sort of experience life in that way, very much. Very, very many things in life are both egg-shaped and red, right? And I mean that things that are generally things that are good for us and things that we want, they also have something that kind of is we're averse to, something that sort of pushes us away, or that makes us want to distance ourselves from it, right? So we have to decide for ourselves what we value. And I believe that's what we're doing here. We're thinking, well, what is love? You know, if I love something, I love the egg-shaped thing, am I okay that it's got a red spot on it? I know my impulse is to attack the thing that's red, but see, we're not birds, right? At least most of us. So we're not going to be, we're not automatically going to fall into both of those, you know, systems of behavior, where we're going to be sitting on it and attacking it at the same time, because both of those impulses are equal in their sort of intensity. We have the ability to, or at least we think we do. We have the ability to override one or the other, or both. Just say, it's an egg shape, but it's got a red spot, I'm just walking away. Or that, you know what, I'm just going to ignore the fact that it's an egg and I'm going to attack that red spot, or vice versa. I'm going to ignore the red spot and I'm just going to sit on the egg, right? I can't remember what kind of bird that was. You could probably Google it and find out. It's probably on YouTube. But I feel like this is us asking, you know, kind of what do I value the most and why? What do I want to do in life? And if I have these long-term goals of becoming my best self, living my best life, that is going to be the higher order objective that has to override all those moment-to-moment, day-to-day things that get in the way of it. Just like a Two of Cups, if it's talking about a marriage or something, right? That the marriage is this higher order objective, or higher order value, you know. And so all the day-to-day things, the little annoyances, the grievances, the arguments that we may have, those are secondary. Those we can override. Those don't mean as much as that higher commitment that we've made. Okay? And I think that this represents us investigating this whole thing, thinking, okay, what does it mean to really love something? What does it mean that, like, what decisions have I made? Who is in my life? What things am I coming into contact with? And are those really the best decisions for me to make? And, am I just acting like a bird and just following whatever program is running inside of me? Or am I making a conscious decision to commit to something that's a little bit more abstract, even if it sort of conflicts with what the day-to-day experience is? It's kind of like I have this goal to be a healthy and happy person, but on the day-to-day, I got to go to the gym. What? I've got to show gratitude. Oh, man. It's a struggle on the day-to-day. But we can do those things on the day-to-day. It means I got to get out of bed when it's cold and go to work and stuff. We can do those day-to-day things because the higher love that we have it means more. It sort of overrides all of those other things. Okay. So I feel like we're getting into this mode of being very discerning about our relationships right now and the things that we're allowing into our lives, the things that we are committing to, and also asking ourselves, are we doing things that are in conflict? Are we sitting on the egg but then also attacking it too? I mean, it's kind of a self-sabotage. Eventually the egg's going to break, and then guess what? You're not going to have an egg to sit on. So do we love something, but at the same time we're sort of, attacking it? Or are we allowing that kind of energy into our life, where we're in this love relationship, but then there's something that is sort of unhealthy about it, and so there's these two conflicting things. Okay, so I feel that there's a lot going on. I want to look at this card now that's been sitting down here. That's a 2, yeah, change. Another 2. So we're thinking not only of what we love and sort of the attractions that we have, the things that we are uniting with, but we're thinking about our behaviors, right? And how our emotions are leading us to do certain things, and these programs that we have, these desires, higher order desires, all the way down to just basic needs, food, water, shelter, food, that sort of thing. But we're starting to investigate those ideas, okay? And with the Knight of Swords underneath everything, you're starting to be very discerning. I think you always have been very discerning. Spirit's saying something about you throwing the runes, or that you, like the Norse symbol of runes, I feel like you use them, or you have some experience with those. Also, the cinnamon? What's the cinnamon thing? There's Spirit's telling me to mention the cinnamon. Sometimes these details are just meant to ground the reading or to anchor us in the energy that we're in. Okay, if those details aren't meant for you, don't worry about it. But yeah, something about cinnamon. Either you I don't know. I see somebody with a mouthful of cinnamon, and I don't know if that's a good thing or if it's not a good thing for you. But this is that discernment. It's kind of like we do things that we enjoy that aren't good for us. Sometimes we avoid doing things that are painful, even though we know that they are going to be good for us, right? So I feel like this is that moment-to-moment discernment of thinking, okay, I can override my initial reaction as, ooh, I don't want the vegetables, right? I can override that and say, I may not want them right now. Like my immediate thing is, oh, a lima bean, but I know that I should eat them. They're good for me, and they're going to lead me to my higher goal. We can have all these lower level goals. Well, I'd want to eat food that tastes good, tastes good, tastes good. I can override that, and I can eat the food that's going to be good for me. Now, the idea here is that the food that's good for me is going to taste good too, right? That is like blessings. That's like, manna from heaven. That's perfect. That's what we're striving for, okay? But you have the discernment. It's your ability to override certain programs that are running. We don't have to just follow everything instinctually like we're a bird. We can stop and say, now, hey, wait a minute. Why am I choosing that thing instead of that thing? Why am I with this person? And why am I connected with this person? Well, why do I do the things that I do in this relationship? Or why do I sort of acquiesce to the other person doing those things in this relationship? That sort of stuff, okay? And we have this Ace of Swords in the background here, which is clarity. There's a background sort of clarity. I think that you've been doing a lot more meditation lately. I think that you have been journaling more, and you've been doing more of a gratitude list. You've been striving for clarity. You've been thinking of things that usually we don't think about it, we just operate. We have this operating system, right? And we just do the things that we do. I think you're looking for a more direct connection with spirit. And I think you have that. I think sometimes our thoughts and feelings get in the way of this direct connection. This is like the antenna on top of your head, right? Or on top of your roof at your house, When the weather's bad, the signal's not that great. I don't know if that still is a thing, but when I was a kid, we used to have these TV antennas on the roof, right? And when there was a storm or a lot of wind, you couldn't watch TV. Static, snow, all that stuff, right? So that's kind of what it feels like with this, that we're trying to maintain this clarity. I want to know. I want to be discerning. I want to have this wisdom from my true self that's kind of showing me, it's allowing me to connect with my high-level objectives in life, the highest goal, the highest aspiration, your true will, and to be able to override all these lesser wills, these lesser desires that fall underneath that. Okay, so we're looking for that direct connection. All in the effort, of course, to grow and to expand and to evolve and progress and get closer to those goals, to get closer to manifesting our best self and our best life. Who we are, where we are, and what we're doing in life, we want it to improve. I think that's a general statement for everybody. We want our life to always be getting better, not going the other way, And so moving forward, we have the clarity of the Ace of Swords that really becomes clarity in terms of our will. And this is now our action. This becomes our intention. We understand what we've been connecting with, what relationships we have. And it's not just relationships with people. It's everything. It's a relationship between you and yourself, you and the door, you and your desk, you and, your finances, you and your health, you and other people, your pets, your plants, everything. Okay. It's the relationship between you and the universe. Okay. And we're realizing what our behaviors have been and how we can arrange our behaviors so that they are all in service to that higher objective that we have. Okay, and we need clarity to do that, and this is us kind of maintaining clarity, and this is now the will that is directing everything else, directing the discernment and all that stuff. So as we talk about the path of the serpent, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. These readings are free. Your general energy is this Libra energy. Again, you have 2 Libra cards. I would watch the Libra reading if I were you. The Libra reading, just quickly, was about someone who has the opportunity, a surge of creative energy, really the revelation of their true will, and the overcoming of the resistance to following that will and trying to manifest that path and trying to live that life and go after that success, So the Libra energy is that higher discernment. It's our ability to judge things in real time, to evaluate, assign a value to something being egg-shaped and something being red. Okay, I want to attack the red thing. I want to sit on the egg. Which one has higher value for you? Which one means the most? Which one is going to take priority? Which one can override the others? Like a game of, what was that game of war? You play with the cards, right? Well, a 3 beats a 2, a 6 beats a 3, and, whatever. So it's kind of like our own value system. You have to know, okay, well, you know what? I love the egg-shaped things more than I hate the red dot that I'm going to attack. So I'm choosing now to override my hatred for red, and instead I'm going to sit on the egg. And that's what we have to have that ability. I don't know if birds do. I have no idea. If they can override any one of their sort of, neural programs, And they might, so in that experiment anyway, what I saw was that the bird was sitting on the egg attacking the red spot. It couldn't override one or the other. It didn't have that higher order discernment to say, I'm going to do one or the other, not both or neither. Or maybe it was a choice. Maybe I want to sit on the egg and then just attack the red spot. I think that the bird has these conflicting wills. The will to sit on the egg, the will to attack anything red. But this is what I feel is a higher order discernment where we can decide what has more value to us. And I think that this has to be done in every moment of our lives, especially when we're kind of conflicted with what we want to do and we're striving for clarity, which is what we see. We're striving for clarity, what our true will is and how to do our true will. We're striving for clarity. We have to ask ourselves that question in every moment. What's more important to me? When I'm going to get a bowl of ice cream in the evening, which I very often do, I have to ask myself, what do I value more? Eating this ice cream right now, or trying to get my body in a healthy state so I can have long-term happiness, so I can be the person I want to be, and I can grow in the way I want to grow, upward, not outward. And so, in those moments, I have to ask myself, what do I value most? The short-term gratification of eating the ice cream, or the long-term gratification of becoming the healthy version of myself, becoming healthier, And so we have to look at our relationships with everything, with people, places, things, ideas, beliefs. The hanged man in the position of the environment, like I said, that's the acquiescence. This is that we have to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice one impulse in order to give expression to the other impulse. We can't go forward and backward at the same time. We can be like the bird, of course, and we can sit on the egg and then also attack the egg at the same time, but that kind of cancels each other out, right? Eventually there will be no egg and no red spot, so we're just it's a dissonance. We're kind of creating chaos, right? So this is that idea of sacrifice. One of these neural pathways or these neural kind of systems or programming have to be put on hold, and we have to allow the other one to run. Like you can't run two opposing computer programs at the same time. You can't shut your computer down and boot it up at the same time. Things are just going to smoke and you'll get the blue screen, right? And so it's kind of what do they call it in the Android realm? It's like a kernel panic. You ever have that? I don't know if you do Android phones, but I remember back in 2008, I got my first Android phone. And it was a MyTouch. And I couldn't do much with it, I'll tell you. The memory just wasn't there yet, but it was fun, and I really enjoy the Android phones. But you try to do two things, and I feel like the CPU just didn't know what to do, and it would get what's called a kernel panic. And the thing would just freeze, or it would reboot itself, It's so much fun. It always brings a smile to my face. I used to frequent XDA developers, learn how to kind of program the Android phones and how to root them and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, don't have much time for that anymore. But that's sort of what's going on here, that we have to give priority to something over something else, right? This is a card of surrendering, giving in, acquiescing, a card of sacrifice. Okay, this is a program that is running, and this is us kind of not interfering or not fighting with it. When we've made the decision to do the thing, we allow that energy to flow, and we don't have this opposing will that's going to fight and say, no, wait, I'm going to try to swim back up the river here. Well, this card's also in the position of your relationships. So we realize that we're going to have to give up some relationships that just are opposing what our true will is. We're going to have to give up anything, really, that is in conflict with the higher order true will, the very top of the hierarchy, of the very top of the priority, mountain. And I think the higher up we get, the less room there is for any deviation. Kind of at the base of the mountain here, there's a lot you could do. You can have conflicting things. I can have ice cream, but I can have vegetables, and I can do all this different stuff. But the closer we get to the goal, the higher we get up that chain, it becomes very important that we don't have any conflicting programs running at the same time. So we're going to, in life, I feel anyway, be required to let go of things that are in conflict with what we really want in our lives. And we're going to find a way to do that. Now, this Hanged Man's been coming up in every reading today, because this is the Ulysses contract. This is our ability to say, you know what, I'm prioritizing a high-level goal, which means that some of these lower-level desires have to be suspended, have to be locked up, have to be denied. Those programs have to be terminated. We got to close the window. And in the Ulysses or Odysseus contract, we're making it impossible for us to run the opposing program. It's my true will to be a healthy and happy person, to have longevity, to be the healthiest version of myself, to get in shape, to get to a good weight, cholesterol, all this stuff like blood pressure. I want to be healthy, So that priority, that program that I'm running, is going to just, by default, it's going to require that I eliminate that other program that runs every night that says, let's have a bowl of ice cream, put some chocolate syrup on it, some whipped cream, a cherry, perfection. It's going to have to override that. Most of the time, doesn't always work. But the Ulysses contract is making it impossible for me to have the ice cream every day, because I don't keep it in the house, or I lock it up and I throw away the key. So it's, even if I wanted to, even if I break down and I'm in a moment of weakness, I'm going to do the bad behavior, I can't. Okay. Now, the sort of further along we get, the more willpower we develop, and it becomes easier to stop the other programs from running, because we're in service to that higher program, the higher objective, the true will. And so that's going to, anyway. The three of cups here in the position of what we don't want. To me, this feels like the celebration. To me, this is the feeling I get having the ice cream, right? The Two of Cups is our devotion to that higher program, to our higher will, to sort of having that reciprocating relationship with anything, right? That it's a relationship of love. It's a relationship of mutual support and appreciation. And to me, the Three of Cups here in the position of the obstacle is like, yeah, but I really want the ice cream. Okay? And sometimes we're going to break down. Sometimes we're going to have it. And when we do, just enjoy it. Nothing worse than you decide that you're going to break your discipline and you're going to have the bowl of ice cream, but then when you're eating it, you just feel so terrible about breaking your discipline that you're not even enjoying the ice cream. No, if you're going to cheat, you might as well enjoy it, right? If you're going to have the ice cream anyway and break your discipline, at least make it worth it, right? And I think that this card's here to say, look, we're all going to make mistakes. We all are going to have things that are going to be, let's say, lower priority desires, that are going to feel good, and that we should give ourselves a little bit of space to do that. We want to overall have this discipline and everything, and we wish everything could be absolutely perfect, but it's never going to be. Okay, but the worst thing we can do, I think, is to get angry with ourselves, or to be filled with some sort of guilt or something about breaking our discipline. We did it. Let's enjoy it. Let's get back on track. And so it's not just your relationship with ice cream. I know that's always my analogy or my metaphor, because, well, I like ice cream. But this is about relationships too. This is about people that we choose to interact with in our life. And sometimes we have to make the choice that says, you know what, I can't. I have to say no, because we realize that every choice, every relationship, whether it's with a pet, a plant, a person, or the wall, or your desk, just with the universe itself, every moment, every thought, word, and deed, every decision that we make, every interaction that we have with anything, just being conscious, is molding us, is shaping us. Okay? Every thought is a strike of the blacksmith's hammer and we're on the anvil. Every thought. And especially every word, and then especially every deed. Right? The thoughts, yeah, like little tiny hammer, ping, 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 ping. The words are like a bigger hammer. The deeds are like Thor's hammer coming down and really shaping us, right? So there's an order of magnitude there. But we realize that every thought, word, and deed is shaping us into something. And we're just trying to be discerning into who we're becoming. So we're trying to make good choices. Choices with the people that we keep in our lives, the things that we do, the things that we consume, the things that we say, even with the things that we think. And now the thoughts are interesting because they may be that little tiny hammer, ding, 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 ding. But the thing is, they happen so often, and often they're so light and so subtle that we don't even realize it. So in some ways, those thoughts are more powerful even than the most blatant deed that we may do. The deed is like one big hammer, right? The thoughts are a lot of little tiny hammers that we don't even know are there, really. But they're kind of doing the most damage sometimes. So we have to also be very discerning about the thoughts that we're allowing in our head. How can I believe that I'm worth the effort, but then also believe that I'm a POS, And so we have to realize that we're running two separate programs in our thoughts too. One says, I can do it. I want to reach these goals. I want to be the good person. And the other ones, the thoughts that are not so easy to hear, but that make the most impact, are those thoughts that say, nah, it doesn't matter. Just have the ice cream. You're never going to be healthy. You're never going to get into shape, So we got to be very discerning because it is very subtle. Now let's look at the mystery card. What is this card going to be? I think a 9 of Cups. I think real happiness. Not just the moment, celebration that I'm going to cheat and have the ice cream. I want real satisfaction, the satisfaction of our true will. I want a 9 or a 10 of Cups. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. But also, with our discernment, what should it be? Well, it should be a card of discipline. It should be the Chariot. It should be the Lust or Strength card. It should be discipline. Yeah, I know what I want it to be, or what it should be. It's another 2 of Cups. Very interesting. Another 2 of Cups. So there's love and there's love, right? And, this is the idea of like we're running 2 programs equally. I want 2 different things equally bad. I want the ice cream now, yeah, but I also want to be a healthy person. So, conflict, right? Chaos, kernel panic. We have to have that higher discernment and that higher true will that's saying one of these is better than the other. But in the moment, I can't decide. In the moment, it's saying, well, I want the ice cream as equally, as badly as I want to be healthy. Or something similar. I know that's a very silly example, but it's just meant to illustrate the point, and I'm very hungry. Anyway, so I think the 2 of Cups is a very good confirmation card. But I think it's showing us that we don't always know what the right path is. We don't always know do I want to sit on the egg or do I want to attack the red spot? We're like the bird. We have that conflicting thing where it's like, I want to do both and I can't decide which one to do. I have to do both of them at the same time. And it's a kernel panic. Okay. But I think as human beings, we have to use that higher discernment to differentiate between love and love. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching reading. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Scorpio Wednesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.